Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel and hope you are all doing well. If you are new here, my name is Wendy from Bake with Bakabee. Here I share with you some fun and scrumptiously delicious recipes, organizing hacks, baking tips and tricks. Everything is about baking. If you like baking as much as I do, this channel is for you. Alright, so for today's video, I'm super excited because I'm going to share with you a recipe to show you how to make these little guys. They are really cool, aren't they? They are black sesame choux pastry filled with black sesame crème pâtissière, or you can call it pastry cream. The choux pastry itself is so crispy, but more importantly, it is so hollow inside in order to give you the maximum space to fill it up with the smooth, nutty, and custardy, you say that word, delicious filling. Once you bite into it, you will be amazed how much flavor in just one little puff. But I know what you might be thinking right now. Choux pastry, is it really difficult to make? I confess, choux pastry is a pastry that takes me quite a long time to master the skill. I remember when I first made the choux pastry, I was not confident enough. Actually, I just didn't know what I was looking for. So I kept learning along the way. So today, ta-da! I have some tips and tricks to share with you to help you make your choux pastry puff up, crispy, and hollow. If I can do it, so can you. Are you ready for it? Let's create something delicious together. Step number 1. Make the black sesame choux pastry. Let's have a look at the ingredients. You will need 75 ml of water, 50 ml of milk, 50 grams of unsalted butter, 75 grams of sifted all-purpose flour, a pinch of sugar, a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of black sesame seed, 2 eggs plus 1 for spare. I will show you later why it is a spare egg. Okay, let's get started, shall we? First, get a saucepan, pour in the water and milk. Then add the butter, sugar, and salt. Now take the whole pan to the stove, turn on the medium-low heat. At this stage, we just need to melt the butter. Once it is melted, keep an eye on it because we need to bring it to the boil, but just to the boil. How do you know? You will see bubbles all around the edges. Then turn off the heat. Pour in the sifted all-purpose flour. Once it is in, we need to keep stirring it until everything's come together. As you can see, the mixture is quite lumpy at the beginning, but eventually it will become smooth. To avoid you getting bored, I fast-forward a bit of the stirring part. When the mixture becomes smooth, just like this, we can turn on the medium-low heat again and put the pan back to the stove and keep stirring it. What we are trying to do here is cook off some moisture in the dough. As you can see, it doesn't look much different. So what are we looking for? When should we stop? Or how long should I stir it for? Here is the pro tip again. When the dough starts to stick onto the bottom of the pan and kind of forming a layer of film, so you can stop stirring it right now. It takes probably 3 to 5 minutes. Now we can take it off from the heat and get ready to add our final ingredients, the eggs. At this stage, you can either mix the dough by hand or handheld mixer, or just like me using the stand mixer. As you can see, the mixing bowl has steamed up. It means the dough is still hot. We need to cool it down before we add the eggs, otherwise it will quite likely we will have scrambled eggs. How to do it faster? We can spread the dough onto the sides of the mixing bowl, just like this. While the dough is cooling down, let's beat the eggs. As I said before, we need 2 eggs for now, but it depends. Maybe we will need the third one, or maybe not. I will show you later when do we need the spare egg. Alright, let's get back to the dough. It doesn't need to be completely cool. As long as there isn't any steam coming out, it means it is ready to add the eggs. Put the beater on and scrape the dough down from the sides of the bowl. I know, at this stage you are not convinced that this mixture will turn into a delicious choux puff. It is a bit dry and lose the shine. But trust me, after adding the eggs and get a few more of my pro tips, I promise this dry and dull mixture will turn into something crispy and hollow choux puff. Now I'm adding the beaten eggs little by little. Don't add them all at once, otherwise the mixture might turn too runny. As a result, it will not hold its shapes when we pipe it. As you can see, once the eggs are added, the texture of the mixture is changing, from slightly dry to a little bit sticky and a lot smoother. Now you might have questions now. How much beaten eggs do I need to add? What kind of texture am I looking for? Or do I need to use the spare egg? Remember, making choux pastry is all about the texture of the dough, but before we test it, don't forget to scrape down the sides of the bowl to make sure we gather the whole dough. Look at the dough, it is sticky and smooth, it looks ready, but when I dip the beater into the dough and there isn't anything comes out or stick onto the beater, it means the dough isn't ready yet. So what I need to do is to turn on the mixer again, keep adding the eggs little by little and continue beating the dough until you dip your beater into the dough again, and when you pull it out you can see a V-shaped dough stick onto it. Just like this. Okay, let me try it again. Can you see the V-shape now? If you are still not quite sure about the V shape, let me show you another pro tip to help you to make sure the dough is ready. But before that, I need to scrape down the sides of the bowl to gather the dough first. Look at it, it is so smooth and shiny. I can plate it all day long. Let's get a spatula just like this one. If you don't have one, your finger can also do the job. Use it to drag across the dough. If it can hold its shapes, that means the dough is 100% ready. Can you see it now? It doesn't change or move at all. Perfect. This is the amount of the leftover beaten eggs. I don't even need to crack the spare egg either. So I think you must have the idea now how much beaten eggs actually you need. Before the next steps, let's preheat the oven to 190 degrees Celsius, which is quite hot because pastry needs high temperature. Here I have a flat baking sheet. I brush it with butter and line it with a sheet of parchment paper. And I have a 1.5 centimeters in diameter round piping tip fitted in a piping bag, ready to be filled with the smooth pastry dough. Place the piping bags in a tall glass, flip the sides of the bag all the way down, then use a spatula to scoop the dough into the bag. The glass is actually holding the bag while loading the dough without a mess. Just like this. How easy and clean is that? Once it is done, flip the bags all the way up and squeeze the dough towards to the piping tip. Now you are ready to pipe. Now it's come to my favorite part, piping. What you need to do is to hold the piping bag steady and vertically, and start to squeeze the bag with your steady hand. When we reach the top of the blob, stop squeezing the bag and flip the bag just like this. Let's watch it again. Place the piping bag 1 to 2 centimeters above the baking sheet. Start squeezing the dough out. When you reach the top, stop squeezing and flip the bag quickly like this. Each blob here is around 3 to 4 centimeters in diameter, but if you want a bigger or smaller one, you may need to adjust the baking time. This amount of dough I can make around 12 to 13 choux puffs. Don't forget to give them enough space in between for them to puff up. Don't worry about the pointy bit at the top of each blob. I will show you how to fix it. Actually, it is quite easy. You just need a tiny bit of water, dip your finger lightly and patch the pointy bit down. By doing this, it can avoid this bit got burnt or overly baked. They are so soft, it is very fun. Finally, let's sprinkle some black sesame seeds on top before baking them. Bake them in a preheated oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. It depends on your oven. It took 20 minutes in mine. You know your oven, don't you? What we are looking for is dry, golden brown, crispy puff shells. Wow, look at them, so light and crispy, and of course they smell so good. But they are not ready yet. You need to get a skewer or a stick to poke some holes into each pastry to release the steam, so that they can dry out completely. Now we need to put them back to the oven at the same temperature to bake them for another 5 to 10 minutes. When they are done, turn off the oven, open the door, and let the choux pastry to cool down completely inside the oven. Wow, I have nothing to say, I just want you to listen. Crispy pastries. Happy day! Let's have a look at inside. I can't tell you how satisfied I am. Can't stop tapping the bottom. I wish you can tap them through the screen too. Wow, what a hollow shell. That means I can fill up a lot of delicious black sesame crème pâtissière. Step number 2. Make the black sesame crème pâtissière. You will need 3 egg yolks, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 20 grams of all-purpose flour, 50 grams of caster sugar, and 200 milliliters of milk. First, get a saucepan, pour in the milk and vanilla extract. Put it to the stove, turn on the low heat and bring it to just boil. Keep stirring it while it is boiling to avoid anything gets burned at the bottom. When you see bubbles on the sides, it means it is ready for the next step. You can turn off the heat for now. Then add the sugar into the egg yolks. Mix them well with a whisk until the sugar has dissolved. Now mix in the final ingredient, plain flour. Continue mixing them until there aren't any lumps. Just like this. Now pouring the warm milk into the egg yolk mixture slowly and keep stirring it gently. Because we don't want to pour in the milk too fast to scramble the eggs. Once it is finished mixing, pour the whole milk egg yolk mixture back to the saucepan and put it back to the stove. Turn on the low heat and cook the mixture gently. While it is cooking, we need to keep stirring it. What I'm trying to do is to cook it until it starts to thicken. When it turns into a paste-like texture, just like this, remove it from the heat. If you do see any lumps, you can put it through the sieve and it can help get rid of them. Wow, the crème pâtissière smells so good. I'm trying very hard not to eat it. Pour it into a heat-proof bowl and immediately cover the surface with cling film to avoid a crust from forming. Just like this. Then refrigerate it until you need it. Now move on to the black sesame paste. Pour in half cup of black sesame powder into the food chopper or food processor. Then add the honey. I ended up using 1 3/4 tablespoon of honey. As you can see, I added 1 tablespoon of honey first and blend them together, but I found the paste is a bit grainy, not smooth, just like this. So I added another 3/4 tablespoon of honey and blend them together until it turns into a smooth black sesame paste, just like this. It is smooth, not stick onto the bowl, not crumbling, and of course it smells very good too. Now the crème pâtissière has been refrigerated for around an hour. The texture of it is even thickened a little bit. I got my black sesame paste ready. Now it's time to mix these two things together to create one super delicious black sesame crème pâtissière. I can't wait to taste it. I scoop a little portion of black sesame paste and mix it into the crème pâtissière bit by bit until these two delicious things are well combined. Finally, they are mixed. I can't wait to fill the choux puffs with this delicious pastry cream. Get a piping bag and fit it with my 1.5 centimeters in diameter open star piping tip. Of course, you can use any tips you like. As usual, get a tall glass and put the piping bag in to avoid any mess while loading the pastry cream in. Once all the pastry cream is loaded, twist the top of the bag tight and squeeze the pastry cream to the end, just reach the piping tip. Then you are ready for the final step. Step number 3, filling the puffs. Finally, after all the hard work, it's come to the final step. We are going to have delicious black sesame cream puffs. Can't wait! Look at these beautiful buddies. Let's cut the top off with a sharp knife carefully. They are so light and crispy. Look at these beautiful hollow pastries. Let's fill them up, shall we? Hold the piping bag straight and pipe the black sesame crème pâtissière into the hollow puff first. When it is full, pipe a swirl around the top. Then cover it with its own lid. Ta-da! Can't wait to taste it, but I need to finish piping the rest of the puffs first. It's better to serve them on the same day in order to get the maximum flavor and the crispiness. Otherwise, keep them in an airtight container and refrigerate them for another day. Let's cut one in half to see how hollow it is and how much crème pâtissière is filled. Shall we? Wow, look at it. It is my definition of happiness. Is it same as yours? Last but not least, before I end my video, I would like to say that choux pastry actually is so versatile. Here I have some filling suggestions for you. You can simply fill it with whipped cream with dusting of icing sugar or a tangy lemon curd. I have a video that shows you how to make homemade lemon curd. You can check it out. If you are a chocolate lover, how about turn them into profiteroles? Fill them with your favorite ice cream and top with indulgent chocolate ganache. So there we have it. I'm really happy to share with you these lovely choux buns. As I said to you, I didn't find it easy when I started making them, so I really encourage you to have a go. The more you practice, the better you get. Now I'm able to produce something delightful with confidence. That's why I'm really happy to share with you and looking forward to hearing your story about the choux you make. Please like and share this video with your friends and family, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell next to it so that you won't miss any of my future videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!